meet in the conference room. Words that can strike dread in the hearts of workers everywhere. So, are meetings a necessary evil or a waste of time and money? Let's consult with Mo Rocca.
The building of the pyramids, do you think there were a lot of meetings?
Can you imagine? Ping! Stop building. Come to an HR meeting.
Like millions of workers, Kaz Najachian felt entombed in what seemed like one endless meeting.
I was spending 9 to 5 in meetings. I was doing my actual work after 5, and that just made me worse at home and made me worse the next day at work.
And as chief operating officer at commerce tech giant Shopify, he knew his coders and designers felt the same way.
So people who build things, people who create things require focus. So if you're thinking about a problem and you're constantly interrupted, nothing good comes out of it.
On average, meetings are taking up nearly half of our work week. Since the pandemic began, the number of meetings has jumped 153%, according to Microsoft. Who is to blame for the preponderance of bad meetings?
Companies started valuing managers over crafters. We started building companies to optimize for people whose job it was to manage other people rather than do anything.
Those who can't make something schedule meetings.
Yeah, we need to actually have you prove that you can build something before we give you Google Calendar. And then I think the world will be better.
So in January, Shopify imposed a meeting moratorium, deleting almost all meetings with more than 2 people and cautioning employees about setting up new meetings, liberating 300,000 hours for this year alone.
While we definitely could do with a little fewer meetings in our schedules, for sure, the bigger problem is ineffective meetings.
But Stephen Rogelberg says the issue is less about the quantity of meetings and more about their quality.
But if we do our meetings better, there's lots of positive outcomes that come from it.
As a meeting scientist at University of North Carolina at Charlotte, Rogelberg's been studying the causes of bad meetings and their effects. There was a meeting where I work. I wasn't there for it, but this meeting was so bad that it's already become legendary. I heard from people afterwards about this terrible meeting. They seemed rattled, maybe even traumatized.
Sounds horrible. There's something called meeting recovery syndrome. When you have a bad meeting, it sticks with you. It's not good enough to keep it to yourself. You got to tell someone else.
I know what you're talking about,
right.
Like people sort of huddling in the hallways and talking about how horrible it was.
Bad meetings, they hurt your productivity, they drain you, they fatigue you.
If you're experiencing MRS, it may be due to meeting bloat. That's when more and more people keep getting added to the meeting. Or it could be due to Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's law is the idea that work expands to fill whatever time is allotted to it. So if a meeting is scheduled for 1 hour, magically it will take 1 hour.
But here's the good news. You can prevent meeting recovery syndrome with these tips from Stephen Rogelberg. First, ask yourself, do you even have to have this meeting? Could it instead be an email? As for your agenda, formulate it as questions to be answered rather than bullet points to be delivered. If you're the meeting host, don't do all the talking. In fact, software company Atlassian has a rubber chicken named Helmet. If someone squeaks it, you've been talking too long. Now let's circle back to Shopify for its innovation in meeting mitigation.
This is a regular calendar invite that I just sent out.
The meeting cost calculator assigns a price to a meeting based on who's invited and for how long. Cost is $841. How did you get to that?
So it's an estimated cost. What would an average engineer cost? What would an average hour of a designer's time cost? And add that up and put it down there.
Meetings are not just neutral time. They cost money.
Yeah, so people ask questions. What is this meeting for? Why are there this many people in it? And those questions will put an immense amount of pressure on organizers to organize fewer meetings and leave the rest of us alone.
Okay, that's our heart out. Now I'm going to give you back the rest of your Sunday.